Hello and welcome back to Law and Order SVU here on FANVERSATION. I am Yael Tygiel. That's Taylor Gates. This is season 26. Oh my goodness, we're back. We're at a special day today. We're going to be a mess for a few weeks, I guarantee it. Taylor, hello.
Hi.
Hi. I haven't seen you or talked to you in months.
Yeah, it's upsetting, but we're reunited. The power of SVU has brought us back together.
Totally. And I apologize to everyone I lied to and said that we would do our Show Us Your Wong-a-thon over the summer.
We got a little busy.
A little busy. But we're back. At least this week, we exist. So this is season 26, season premiere, episode 1, Fractured. Before we jump into this episode, before I say so many things, first and foremost, if you are in a situation and you need help, please reach out for help. Please contact RAINN. Their number is 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673. They're available to talk to you on the phone, or they have a chat that is anonymous that you can use. Google RAINN, RAINN. Taylor, what does 4673 spell?
It spells hope, and I really thought you had forgot to throw that to me, but thank God you're just saving it for the end.
I did not forget. I just wanted to
grand finale.
I wanted to make sure that I was very respectful and that I did my due diligence.
Yes.
Because if you've never enjoyed an episode of SVU, you're in for a treat. Here on the SVU podcast, we discuss a show that is very serious and does deal with serious issues, but we are not a serious group. So consider this your content warning. We will make light of things that are dark, and consider your mental health. Please don't add us.
Yeah.
Okay, before we jump in, we have live people with us, which is amazing because we're not on our usual day and we've been gone for a month. Doreen, welcome. We've missed you so much. OMG, hello girls, long time. We're so happy you're here. Let's jump into this episode. I'm gonna read the quick cap and then I want your thoughts.
Yep.
Here's the quick cap, before I get into the quick cap, actually, I have to say this. The quick cap and the title really makes me think that when this episode began, when they first started writing the script or working on it, this episode was going elsewhere. And by the time we got it on our television screen, it was different. And let me read the quick cap. The SVU investigates a brutal attack on a group of law students. Benson hopes the discovery of a hidden camera will crack the case open. Carisi's best chance at conviction is catching the defendant in a lie. Taylor, what did you think of this episode, season 26, episode 1, Fractured?
I mean, it was certainly an episode that they aired. I thought that the case was boring. Sorry.
Okay.
It was bland for me, fell a little flat, and the personal stuff was, I fear, worse. I'm sorry. I'm lenient with the show too, right? But Silva's not doing it for me. Many thoughts on that. And I feel like they have really done a 180 in a direction I'm not loving. Like, the show has never been perfect about exploring the police brutality, frankly.
I was like, why are you trying to pretend to say something nice?
I know. I'm just trying to find the right words because that is actually sensitive topics that I think are important. But it's never been perfect, right? Far from it. But this episode is not even trying anymore. Like, they are doubling down on the people are like, this is propaganda. It is propaganda. But they're not even trying to not be propaganda. And that's concerning for me. And just doesn't feel authentic either, because we've seen our detectives see that there are so many issues and so many not great people like perpetrating this. And so the fact that it's like, oh, like everybody hates cops, everybody, are you guys kidding me? Like, are you guys kidding me? So I'm having some issues, and I really hope that we don't continue the whole season like that, because it's gross.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your thoughts on this. You wrote a really great piece for Collider that is linked in the description below. So if people would like to read it,
linking it.
It was very well. I mean, not surprising that it's well written because you're an amazing writer, but like you express this issue very well in this. And I think that if people would like to hear more about your thoughts on that, it's written and it's linked in the description below.
Yes.
So before we jump into the case, which I found hilarious, before we jump into that, let's talk about the team. First and foremost, we need to celebrate that Bruno is finally in the opening. That is right. Our beloved Kevin Kane is finally a series regular and part of the team. Also a series regular is the new Detective Silva. Yet Captain Curry, not in the opening, not a regular.
Real bizarre.
So bizarre. But let's talk about Detective Silva, who's been there for 3 weeks. We get like some info dump on her. that's she came from Brooklyn Homicide. She was inspired by 9/11. She's being tested, it seems, which I feel like Velasco should be like, yeah, that's what Benson does, because he was tested. Her father was a cop for 35 years and then deputy commissioner for 10 years. Have we met her father? Have we met a Silva? Because I do not recall.
I can't recall either. I just feel like we have seen all of this before so many times.
So interesting you say that, because I think upon reading your review, which again is linked below, people, and the way that our plucky new detectives are treated, I think, and I'm almost hoping that this is the opposite of that, right? Like Kat and Muncie came in and were the voice of Gen Z and were like, hey, this isn't cool. Hey, this is how we are now. This is, we're young and hip and we know what's going on and we'll teach you the ways of social media. I almost feel like Silva is brought in as like, she's supposed to be our youngin' and she's going to be like uber conservative, right? Because she comes from a cop family. So that, if that is the case, interesting.
But is it?
I don't know.
Because it's the same ideas that we've had with, like, I don't know, like, I can't even think of any one person, because it's just like everyone that comes in is like, well, that's not how blah 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 they used to, you know what I mean? It's just in a different package. It's interesting because it's our Gen Z package girl, because she's a younger, woman, but it's these like ideas that are not new or refreshing.
I hear what you're saying, but I think at least it's the packaging with the old school ideals makes it interesting to have somebody who is a young Latinx woman to come in and then be a good old boy. I think that's at least entertaining television.
That's fair, but then it's like, who's playing the other pushback role? You know what I mean? Nobody. And then that scares me a little bit, because that's important to have. And we've seen the fact that they didn't have it this episode and what that meant for Joan.
Alexa's in the chat. We missed you too. Doreen asks, is Curry leaving? We don't know that Curry's leaving. I wanted to point out that she is not in the opening credits, which means she's not a series regular. So she is recurring.
Can we actually, now that we're on this topic, I don't even know her name. I don't even remember it. That's how much I didn't care about her. Last season.
Captain Curry?
No.
Oh.
I love Captain Curry. You know who I'm talking about. Knock off Rollins.
Oh, the girl from My Boys.
Yeah, who was her name?
It was Shanna.
Yeah. Wait, is she no longer here?
No, she was the FBI lady who showed up, and then we solved her sister's case, so she like went on her
She
merry
left?
way.
But we didn't really like say goodbye. Like I
We
thought
didn't say goodbye to her. We didn't say goodbye to Churlish 2 seasons ago, and then there was the other one. Last season, there was another one.
The guard girl, yeah.
Guard.
You know what I'm talking about? She was like in the precinct.
Oh yeah, she did. She showed up
She was there for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it seemed like
But no, there was another one.
God.
Who did we have last season? Hold on, we had a girl. She was young. I got you. I'm gonna look this up, guys. This tells you how much these people. I got you. This is gonna be so funny. I'm not looking at the chat because I want to get it before they do, but they're gonna get it before me. Come on.
I don't know. Wasn't the girl's name I think the girl's name was Garcia, who I'm thinking of.
Garcia's the girl who just popped up that one episode from
like, why did she
No,
do that?
Wasn't there someone else? Another detective who joined our team? Am I mixing people up?
I don't know who you're thinking of. There's so many. This is a problem. This is not good when we don't even know. Oh, Doreen said Bronx SVU. Yeah, that feels right. Wasn't there someone from Bronx SVU? I know. That does ring a bell for me.
Was that not Churlish?
But who knows? There's been a lot of people. It's a revolving
The one that got drugged. That's Churlish. Did I freeze?
Loading.
Have you frozen? Who's frozen?
I froze, but I'm back. It took so long. They literally were like, let's do this wheel.
Who cares? Sykes, Curry.
The one that got drugged, Doreen said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Churlish. Was there not another one?
But wasn't that...
Okay. You froze again. You're back.
I don't know what's going on.
We're moving on.
I'm sorry. Go.
Okay. Let's talk about this episode.
Sure.
Because I was so amused. So amused. I appreciate this idea that like these college kids miss their youth because of COVID. Like, yeah, I remember that. That's, I think, interesting. It kind of went into play, but not really.
I was like, did they really do anything with that though? Like,
no, but I appreciated that it was brought up, and I really wanted it to have something to do with anything. I will say, as soon as Damon seemed like he was suggesting a threesome, I was here for it. I was so excited for this threesome to happen. My issues are thus. When Teddy watches through the door and sees the threesome, and then later he's like, I was jealous because it meant that I, was left out. And I'm going to say something offensive here. I'm surprised his thought wasn't, this girl is not as vanilla as I expected. I have a shot now.
Fair.
Right? Like, dude, your instincts are wrong. I think in that moment, this girl is open to new experiences and wants to enjoy her life.
She's DTF.
Right? Like, shoot your shot.
Yeah, literally.
Especially because Teddy didn't shoot a shot, right? Like, the whole premise was that this Sam kid got rejected, got butthurt about it, but Teddy never made the move. And I'm like, Teddy, literally when he was watching through the thing, all I could think was like, interrupt, get them to open the chain and jump in.
Yeah. Why are you so shy? Get in there. Get in there.
Turn that threesome into a foursome, dude. Yeah. Come on.
Why not? Why not at this point?
Okay, so that's where I'm at. That I was loving. I loved the threesome. I will say what surprised me when we found the hidden camera was that there was no question about whether she was camming. Like, my first thought was, it's possible that she's camming if it's pointed at the bed. So why didn't they think she was camming?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
It's a good question.
I was sad that she wasn't camming.
This Wi-Fi, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'll keep talking.
Yeah, just keep going. Got so much to say.
I have so much to say. I loved it because okay, so then as I said earlier, I felt like this episode was originally supposed to go one way and then didn't. And here are some examples why. There's supposed to be 4 brilliant law students, right? Like, these were smart kids. So Teddy did not lawyer up when he first went in. And then when he realized that they saw him as a potential suspect, again, did not lawyer up. That was weird to me because they're supposed to be smart. Also, the questions of him waiting outside, where was that going? Why was he waiting outside? What happened? Like, that felt like it was going somewhere and didn't.
Yeah, I agree. That was a strange, like, dead end.
And then the rape kit, the DNA was sent to the lab and they never got results. Did I miss it when results came in? You're frozen. I'll leave it to the chat then. Did DNA results come in?
I'm just gonna try a hotspot because this is not working for me.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
not. Well, if you're in the chat, let me know if I missed that because I was wondering about the DNA results, especially because Sam originally claimed that it wasn't him. Doreen says, I don't think they got the results. Okay. So why are we talking about DNA if there's not going to be results? The other part, I'm taking her down. Maybe she'll come back. The other part that made me laugh so hard is when Elodie didn't mention the threesome and Benson and Curry were like, why didn't they mention it? And I was shouting at my screen because I also wouldn't have mentioned it. That did not feel relevant. And I understand that eventually it was relevant, but it seemed odd to me that the detectives continued to say, why didn't you mention it? As though it was relevant off the bat, right? Like, I wouldn't have mentioned it. It's none of their business.
That was weird to me as well. Like, who cares?
I mean, I care, but for different reasons. Oh no, you're still frozen. You're back.
Maybe. We'll see.
Are you hotspotting?
I'm trying. Maybe I should go to a different room. I don't know.
I love you and I'm so glad you're trying. Oh, she left me. Alexa in the chat says the pacing of the episode felt a little slow. Interesting. I don't know if the pacing felt slow to me. It just felt like multiple stories that they were like kind of grasping at and yet didn't go anywhere, right? Like the crime itself and Sam the perp was one thing, and it was I know Taylor said it was kind of boring because it isn't new or exciting, but I think that like the acting was so well done that I appreciated the story. And it was interesting enough, especially because at some point we talk about how smart he is, right? Sam also is a smart law student and yet like was so easy to not only catch, but like they found the murder weapon so easily. And I'll wait till Taylor comes back to complain about the murder weapon in a second. Doreen says, got lost in the shuffle. Yeah, I think that in addition to, right, the case, there was this whole everybody's mad at the cops situation that did not get explained or looked into at all. So if you go back to Teddy, who called his father, who said to call the campus security instead of the cops, like that in and of itself should have been an interesting discussion. Because if Teddy had called the cops as opposed to his father and then campus security, like, why did he choose to go this route when historically on these shows, campus security has been useless? And in this situation, campus security called the cops anyway. Taylor, any thoughts?
I only caught the end, but yeah, the campus security thing was bizarre at best.
I just think that, like, again, we've talked about, this whole everyone hates the cops thing did not get explained or expressed in any way, like was not a thing at all.
Yeah, I agree. It felt so random and just like they just are taking such a broad strokes approach. And even like the end scene, I'm sorry if you've already mentioned this when I was struggling, but with Carisi being like, it's crazy that we got 12 strangers in America to agree on anything. And it's like, what are we trying to say? Like, I just feel like we should be trying to say something. And I fear that that's saying nothing.
So, okay. In the quick cap, right, it says Carisi's best chance of conviction is catching the defendant in a lie. And at some point, Carisi says, never underestimate the power of a bold-faced lie in the halls of justice. So these two things tell me that this episode was trying to approach the like problems within the system where people can lie and get away with it. And yet that did not feel like it was part of the case whatsoever.
Agreed. Also, what does fractured mean? What's the title referring to?
So I thought about that. And again, this goes back to my like theory that the episode was originally supposed to go one way and then ended up a different. Because in the old days, original early seasons, the series gave us a title that was a double entendre, usually, right? Mm-hmm. So in this one, I feel like Fractured A referred to like David, who was beaten up and his head was fractured, like, right? And the other part of it was the like fractures within the system. And yet, so like I'm giving them an out here.
Yeah.
And yet that's not, we didn't explore that whatsoever, right? Like it was glossed over that there are fractures in the system. Yes. If that is in fact what they were going for, if not, I got nothing. I was grasping at straws for you.
That was nice of you.
Thanks.
I truly appreciate that.
Let's give some shout outs because there were some positives, right? This episode was directed by Norberto Barba. Amazing. It was written by our showrunner, David Graziano and Julie Martin. Our newest detective, Silva, is played by Juliana Aiden Martinez. Captain Curry, who's joining us again, Amy Donna Kelly. Elodie was played by Lexi Mindtree, and this was an incredible performance. I thought she did fantastic. I really loved it. Teddy was played by Jeremy Gill. Sam Ellis, so creepy, played by Ari Delpert. Really great performance. Absolutely disgusting and creepy.
Yeah.
And like the epitome of incel. And I want to talk about his, I laughed so hard at his outburst in court. And in the vein of incelness, I want to talk about something that I've talked about actually on a different podcast about like dating and relationships. So he says, this is the quote. He says, I helped her study. I walked her home when she was out late. I listened to her problems. I did everything for her. And here is
That is
something.
everything.
Here's something I want to say.
Everything you can do for a girl.
I've talked to a lot of my friends who are women who date men. And this is very specifically, I would say, about straight men who date women. If a man does not have a female friend that he does not want to sleep with, that is not his friend's partner, and is not, I think it was a family member, a female friend that is just his friend, he does not see women as people. They are the partner of someone else or a potential sexual partner.
Mm-hmm.
So this kid being like, I listened to her problems. That is called friendship.
Yeah.
So I needed that out on the record there. Oh man. Let me give you some more actor shout outs. Damon was played by August Blanco. The detective that we met at who brought us to the crime scene. We've seen him before. That's Detective Perry. He's been in a few episodes. Why he hasn't joined the team? Odd. I guess, not so odd if you really look at it. That's Jason Bowen is the actor's name. Shelley was played by Larkin Riley. And those are the actor shout outs I want to give. Those were such great performances. I had said, but I didn't go into it because you weren't available to hear it. Yeah. So when Sam Ellis, he needs a full name for some reason. He is supposed to be, again, a smart lawyer or a smart law student. And when Velasco and Silva were walking through the park trying to find the murder weapon, literally, somebody says, what would you want to do if you were in the situation? And they said, go home and wash the blood off. And they're standing directly in front of a fountain. And then they're like, he's a smart law student. He knows where the cops are going to look. He knows we're going to look in the trash cans and the subway tracks. You're in front of a fountain. Look in the fountain.
Yeah.
I would have thrown it in the fountain. You know why? Because that washes off evidence.
Right. That's a good point.
But no, he threw it in the trash can. And then glossing over this big, huge fact here is that Silva searched that man's possessions, the homeless man's possessions, without permission, took his stuff without permission or gloves, and then promised him a new hammer that I guarantee she's not bringing him.
It was so condescending. I hated that interaction. It was gross. It was gross. Yeah. I didn't like that at all.
Agreed. Also, the fountain. He would have put it in the fountain. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Other weird notes that Sam has 12 Instagram followers. That was a weird fact.
Yikes.
Ugh. Okay, I have to point this out because it feels necessary to me. Sam watched the video 6 times, correct? At this point, why didn't he just admit he was a perv? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like, I was watching to make sure that she could consent. She was too drunk. Just admit you watch because you're a perv, right? That's a lesser charge.
Right. Yeah. Come on now.
And then he was like, and then I went to sleep, and they're like, you just went to sleep? Just admit what you did, because we know you watched it 6 times.
We know
what you did, and then you went to sleep. I don't know why we're genuinely. What is it that Barbara always says? Admit to the lies you can't. No. What is it? Admit to what you can't lie about. Lie about what you can't admit. Something like that.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah. During yeah, I can't stop chuckling. You're killing me. This episode made me laugh so hard, which I know was not what they wanted.
It was. I just still think with a case like this, you could have had more twists and turns for me. I mean, I liked the chess.
Yeah.
I liked the security camera. There were some details here and there, but overall, like Teddy to Sam, like there should have been some other people in the middle there that we were like suspecting.
Alexis says he's gonna build a house.
That was so sad.
That was sad. I agree with you. Some of it was fun. It could have been more. The chess thing really was great.
I liked the chess thing a lot. Like that was so.
Who did Teddy who got stood up on his date? That was suspicious as fuck and went nowhere. Right? Like
he was supposed to be his date.
They were like, "Who was she?" And he's like, she stood me up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, you didn't have a date, babe.
Right. Like, just admit you went to the park to play chess.
Yeah.
Well, admit
with that.
Admit you are boring. And Sam, admit you're a perv. Like,
there's nothing boring about playing chess in the park at 2 a.m. That's crazy to me, actually.
I know that this episode was problematic as fuck, but I had so much fun.
I've had more fun before. I'm just gonna put it that way.
For sure. It's no Send in the Clowns.
Send in the Clowns.
Let me ask
premiere, it just didn't feel like a premiere at all. There's nothing premiere-y about it.
No, but we've gone back and forth every season about whether a premiere needs to be premiere-y or if it can just be an episode.
I don't care that it didn't set up a bigger case, and I'm glad it didn't, frankly, because I don't need another Maddie, like, at all. Like, keep that. But I just think that it could have been, like, bigger, splashier. You know what I mean? It just felt this felt like a middle of the season episode to me.
Totally. I agree. Alexis says 6 times in a row. Yeah, we know what you were doing.
We're not stupid.
It just didn't. You're a perv, and that's okay. You watch porn. It's fine.
Okay, but
sorry.
But it's better
okay
than the alternative.
It's okay that you're a perv.
Yeah.
What you did was not okay.
Yeah. Distinction.
Thank you for letting me clarify.
Sure.
Thank you for letting me contextualize what I was saying.
Yes.
Speaking of contextualizing, I hope you could explain this to me. During Sam's outburst, he says to Carisi,
"You're not God, you're not my professor, and I'm my father."
And Carisi says, "No, I'm not." What?
There had to have been some daddy issues we didn't go into.
Well, his father told him that he would have to work twice as hard to get a girl because he's different.
Right, but like, what does that really actually mean? Like, we should have gotten a little bit more of that.
Totally. Because, again, like, we all of a sudden introduced that he's an incel at the end. And his father seems to be really shitty if this is how he raised him to believe. It went nowhere. Lots of things in this episode went nowhere.
Yeah.
Them all being very bright law students went nowhere, except that at the end, they're going to be kick-ass lawyers like Carisi.
That would have been so fun too, because I feel like when we've had like law students before, people like they can get crazy. Like they really know how to fight back and make lives difficult. And I always think that's really fun. And so I was sad that we didn't really have that here, because that's always like a fun obstacle when they're like, yeah, well, like, I don't know. I just think that's like a fun element that we didn't really explore.
I agree with you. I love it. Maybe it's because it's me, but I love it when people start yelling legal jargon that they may not understand at other people.
Yeah.
I love to talk about the law with actual lawyers who tell me to shut up because I'm wrong.
Yeah, my sister's going to law school right now, and she's going to have a fun time with me pretending I know everything.
When she is further along, we are going to have her on the show, and we are going to debate legal precedent with her, and she is going to hate us.
She is going to kick our ass, I fear. Yes.
It's going to be so good. Doreen says they didn't do a deep dive. Everything was a dead end. Totally. Alexa says, yes, more action and twists. Yeah, somebody earlier asked for a car chase.
And Doreen, which correct. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we had Benson in a car. That's it. Doreen did say, boring as a premiere, need a car chase. All right. Let's rise and radiate and move on to best lines.
I think we need one of those merch. Rise and radiate.
Rise and radiate. All right, I'll go first because I have only 3, I think.
Yeah, I think I don't have that many either, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So it was when Finn says that his gun is named Teresa, and Bruno says you named your gun after your ex-wife. Does Phoebe know about that? He says she's met my ex-wife. Listen, we have all met his ex-wife, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Carisi says, and this I almost want a t-shirt of, who plays chess? Oh no. Who plays chess at 3 a.m.? Evidently someone who's shut out of the threesome.
You know I had that one too.
Again? You were not shut out, dude. You shut yourself out.
Try. Make an effort.
Seriously, had you opened the door and let them know you were there, I guarantee someone would have said, come on.
Come on in.
Or they would have been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And you could have said, don't stop on my account.
I've been the MVP.
Hell yeah, friends. A threesome may actually be a foursome missing you.
So, wow, poetic.
Thanks. And then the chess player, my old lady's still not talking to me. And Finn says, seems like you need an alibi more than him.
Yeah, that was good.
Hit me.
Okay, I liked the entire conversation they had when Shelly gets home. Like, how did pickleball go? I went there to meet guys, but it was all these little kids, and they called me ma'am. I thought that was just funny. I really did like their dynamic with each other and their dialogue. I thought that was a bright spot for me.
I agree. I'm going to cut you off real quick because I think, honestly, like the way the episode started, I thought it was going to be that like they're 3 close friends and roommates and she's the left out one. Mm-hmm. But when she joins them and it seemed like they were all friends. And I loved that actually, because I feel like as we've seen with roommates, it's never that way.
Yeah. I really liked you can't just walk around in the street with a hammer. You can. I think you can. But suspicious for sure.
I also think you probably really can in New York.
Yeah, I wouldn't bat an eye. I'm like, yeah, that checks out. People walk around with the iguanas and shit in New York, like on the subways. It's not that crazy. You're the best Pugliest I know, counselor. Pugilist? I don't know, but like, why are they using that word? It was very interesting to me. And then we've already mentioned it, but you're not God, you're not my professor, you're not my father.
The way that Carisi responded with, no, I'm not.
No, not.
He was like, where is this? What are you, what?
Yeah. It was a choice, for sure.
Amazing. Great lines. Alexa, the chances I forgot they were leaving law students.
Yeah, I literally, when I was like making my notes to do my like review for Collider, I was like, were they medical students? Like, I was like, I knew they were high up and something really smart, but I thought they were medical students because I absolutely forgot about the law part. Not great sign.
I forgot to give an actor shout out to our chess player. Dominic Marcus was the actor's name. Amazing performance. Hilarious.
Yeah, it was great.
It's time for our shower thoughts.
Oh.
And it's actually, my shower thoughts are inspired by something that you had said.
Wow.
In the lines, you talked about pickleball. So for our friends who are listening in the shower, first of all, We've missed you. I hope your showers have not been lonely without us.
I hope you have showered since.
Yeah, I really do hope you've showered. Concerning. But my question is inspired by the pickleball story. When was the first time you remember getting mammed? I'm asking the hard questions.
I don't know the answer to that.
Do you remember like age range that you were?
I mean, if you go to the South, you get mammed all the time.
That's true.
Like if I'm on vacation, I've been a teenager and I've been mammed because that's just a Southern thing. I don't know. I don't like mind it so much. Maybe that's bizarre, but I don't mind it so much.
I think that's because you're from Indiana.
And I think it's also because like I think that I am gonna like thrive when I'm like in my 40s. Like I think that's gonna be my best era.
So while I am definitely at ma'am age, which really upsets me,
Am I?
Not yet.
Okay.
I definitely hate being called ma'am and prefer to be called miss. I'm a miss.
You want to know something? This is a tangent.
Great.
But
this is shower thoughts.
Okay, it's so true that this is where it's encouraged. So you know, people, there's non-binary people, right? And so it's like, what's a respectful term for a non-binary person? Like sir or ma'am. And I have no right to do this. I'm not non-binary. But I think a great term would be them. Don't you think?
Love.
Them.
I was thinking mer.
I think them's just like maybe edges it out a little bit. Because that's like giving mermaid a little bit. Which
sir, ma'am, there, mer, them.
I like them though. I like them hits. It hits.
Them is good.
You guys can call me them. I'm not non-binary, but I like the term a lot. So
you also will accept ma'am.
Yeah, I'll accept sir. I don't care. I actually don't care.
I remember the first time I witnessed someone calling someone sir or ma'am in a setting that felt odd, and I realized that they were military.
Oh yeah.
So it's military in the South that will call anybody sir or ma'am.
If you're in the military from the South,
oof.
Whoa.
You're set.
You're set.
I don't like it. I understand that in those communities and cultures, it is respectful. I don't like it. And I don't know why. But I also realized, and this is something I didn't realize until I was in, I want to say, high school. So I was raised in a family where we referred to adults by their first name. And in high school, I realized that my friends were raised in families where they refer to adults by Mr. or Mrs. whatever their name is.
That was definitely what I was raised with. I'm 28 now, and I'm home right now for high school reunion. And I still find myself calling my best friend's parents like Mrs. Harding, because that's how I knew them. We're fully both adults now. I could call her by her first name, but I'm not used to that. Interesting.
Yeah, I like all of my parents' friends are their first names.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And I think that is because I was raised by foreigners.
Do you think so though?
Yes.
Maybe that's not true, but I would think that like other cultures are a lot more respectful than Americans.
Not the one I'm from.
Okay, fair enough.
Alexa says, thank God no one has manners anymore because I can't say I remember being called ma'am. Damn, Alexa. Vicious. I love it. Doreen says, I'm old and don't want to be called ma'am. Oh, I can't even spell it. That's funny. Yeah, my notes have it spelled correctly as well. So those are our shower thoughts.
Wow. What a good one.
Thanks. I really thought about that one. It's time for What Did We Learn? And I'm so ready for this one. Because you brought it up in the quotes, and it's a pugilist.
I was going to say that.
So
it's a fancy word for boxer.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Is that what you learned too?
Yeah.
Okay, so Benson
That's why we had to tag team it.
You're the best pugilist I know, counselor. It's a professional boxer. I don't like its use here.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but I was kind of like, if you're a verbal,
Sure.
pugilist.
Did
I say that right? I don't like it's
pugilist.
hard to say.
It's hard to say. It also spells pugilist.
Right. That's why I definitely mispronounced it when we were doing best lines. Oops.
That's fine. The thing is, Barba's a better pugilist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So he's not the best one yet.
He's not the best. He's second best.
He's not even the best one who's worked for you.
He learned from the best.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. That's what we learned, everybody.
There you go.
Oh man. What a silly episode. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to make sure I hit because I had so many parts where I laughed. I want to talk about Rise and Radiate for a second because Shelley went there to not attract negativity, which I believe is a double negative, but it reminds me a lot of this idea that we teach women to protect ourselves, to not dress a certain way, to not be out alone, to not attract negativity, which is not the way this should work. And so a women's empowerment group who's trying to help her not attract negativity should in fact be helping her attract positivity and build support and find a community.
Can I just say, for sure that was going to be a cult. For sure thought they were going Next Gen vibes with that. Because I just don't trust any women's empowerment group in SVU. Like, there's always something shady going on. And so I was shocked when it was fine. I was like, there's something wrong with this place.
100%. I was like, Rise and Radiate, a women's empowerment group. That is a cult.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It better. That would be fantastic if it comes back.
Yeah.
Especially if Elodie becomes like their legal counsel.
Or she joins it and gets sucked in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then like starts
okay,
representing them. She becomes, what was the woman's name in NXIVM?
Oh, it's Allison something? Allison Mack?
No, not the actress. The like second next to Keith Raniere.
Sarah something?
I don't know. No, that's the mom.
I don't remember now.
But you know who I'm talking about? Sorry,
yeah.
I
know. I can picture her, but I can't.
With the short black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see Elodie becoming her.
Wait. I'll forgive this episode for all its faults if they go that route.
You know, I have forgiven this. This episode is full of faults. Let's be clear. But
it's full of fractures.
It's full of fractures. Which I don't think is what they meant.
It's not.
But the threesome really they won me over early.
You need to take a full shower is what you need to do. I need to watch shower thoughts and shower time.
Okay. Well, on that note, before we wrap things up, I'm going to let everybody know, Taylor, you're going to hear this for the first time as well.
Great.
So, sorry, everybody. Next week, we will not be at our regular date or time because I will be traveling. I will be at Electricon next weekend, the first ever electric entertainment convention in New Orleans, celebrating Leverage Redemption, Almost Paradise, The Outpost, The Arc, Leverage, The Librarians, The Next Chapter, The Librarians. I think that's it. I don't remember if I missed any of the shows that I do, but that's where I will be. And then I'm going to New York for New York Comic Con. So if you are at Electricon, you have to come say hello. That is a requirement. If you are at New York Comic Con and you see me, you also have to come say hello, but that one's going to be harder. So I don't know when we will be back.
But we will be.
We will be. So make sure you have subscribed to this YouTube channel if you're watching us live on YouTube. Hit the bell so you get the notification because as you see, we don't always do it at the right time. And if you're on Spotify or iTunes or any of those things, please hit those buttons so that, you can subscribe and don't miss new episodes. But until we return, and I promise we will be back for the new episodes, we're not taking a season off or anything. I'm just busy. Taylor.
Yes.
Aside from your high school reunion, 10-year reunion, apparently,
yes.
Where are you these days and what are you up to?
Well, I'm still on Twitter somehow. And my handle there is alphaba_Ann. Very appropriate since the Wicked movie is coming out soon. I am also on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_. I've also been doing a ton of articles and reviews and interviews on Collider. So you can literally just search Taylor Gates and Collider, and my profile will pop up with said interviews and reviews and articles. So if you want to read more stuff that I've written or see me talk to famous people, you can go there.
Amazing. I am on Instagram at Yael Tygiel. That is YAELTYGIEL. If you like to read filthy smut
with threesomes,
with lots of threesomes or more, really, the more the merrier. Those are the books I am reading, and you can hear all about those on my Insta, Good Little Library Mouse. That is spelled Good Little Library Mouse. I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy there's new SVU, even though this episode was problematic as fuck. I had a great time. More threesomes, everybody. Please enjoy your lives. And hopefully I'll see you at Electricon or New York Comic Con. And if not, I will see you back here. Bye, everybody.
I have a new heart for you.
Yeah.